One of my biggest mistakes when it came to weight loss had nothing to do with food. It had everything to do with thinking I had to do it alone.
Hey, I'm Stacia, and welcome to Be Real. I definitely don't have all the answers, but if you're looking for honest conversations about healing, growth, and just figuring life out together, you're in the right place. Let's be real.
Oh, my dog Blaze, he's gonna say hi. Oh, he's just gonna sit right where I want to put my camera. Maybe he just wants to be part of all this. You can lay down. I don't know, maybe this is gonna stay, maybe it won't. Well, you may or may not hear him in the background. Anyways, so today, okay, I'm trying to recap. I'm trying to recap or rethink about what I wanted to share. So today's topic, I wanted to talk about where I was like 3 years ago, because I feel like there's a lot of people who feel like this. And like 3 years ago, I literally just was at a place in my life where I truly didn't even recognize like the women looking back at me. I was overweight. I was eating a lot. I was drinking a lot, drinking alcohol. And I just did not love who I was. You know, throughout my life, I have often lost weight and then gained it and then lost and then gained. And usually when I lose and then gain, I would gain even more. I don't know. I mean, can you relate to that? Have you ever had that kind of situation where it's like, it feels like you're on the right track and then all of a sudden you get derailed. So you start this new diet plan, you start this new workout, whatever it might be. And like, you're feeling really good. And like, you're like, oh my gosh, I've lost 10 pounds, maybe even 15. I feel so good. And then just, I don't know if it's even anything specific. It's just life happens. And then all of a sudden you like slowly let go of those things that you were doing. And you kind of just let go of what was working. And then you start to gain weight again. And little by little it creeps on. And then like for me, I would gain even more weight than my starting point when I was on that crash diet or that all or nothing, you have to show up all the time. And so 3 years ago, I finally got to this place where I was like, I literally cannot do this anymore. And I thought to myself, like, if I ask for help, I'm failing 100%. I don't need anybody else to help me with this. Like, I know what I need to do and I can do it. Well, that has not worked in the past. And I finally just reached out and asked for professional help. And can you hear Blaze walking? He's just digging around. He's like, what are you doing? I don't know. Am I there? Yeah, you can see him. That's his little toy box. So you might hear him in the background, of course. But anyways, I got to a place where I just finally was like, you know what? I can't do it all by myself. Like, I've tried and I've done this all or nothing and it is not working. I finally asked for professional help and I went to a weight loss doctor. And this was, I saw her for about 1.5 years. And while seeing her, she gave me the advice to see a therapist as well. And so what started out as losing weight, thinking, okay, I know I need to eat better, I need to exercise, all those things. It really shifted my mindset to realize that asking for help is not failure. Asking for help from somebody who is a professional is giving myself, like I just think about myself 3 years ago, almost giving myself gosh, I'm just trying to think like, that's the word I'm looking for. I finally allowed myself to get vulnerable. And that is not an easy place to be. I now, 3 years later, wish I would have asked for help, gosh, when I was freaking 16 years old. Because I realized that my weight loss journey really had nothing to do with how much food I was eating or not eating, how much exercise I was getting or not getting. Okay, you haters out there, did that play a role? Of course it did. Are you kidding me? Like, calories in versus calories out, that is a thing. Like, there's science behind that, okay? So yes, obviously, that plays a role. However, asking for help made me realize that those issues went so much deeper than just your typical diets, your typical workouts. I have always been all or absolutely nothing. So I am 100% all in, or I'm completely out and I'm like, screw it. I'm sitting on the couch. I'm doing nothing. I'm eating whatever I want, whenever I want, however much I want. I have often been that way throughout my life. And finding this like middle ground has been non-existent. That's what I've been working on over these last 3 years. Now, have I lost weight? Yeah, I started at like 240 pounds. And I'm now around like the 165, 170, like somewhere right in between that range. And am I where I want to be? No. Do I have all the answers? Abso-freaking-lutely not. Anybody who tries to tell you that they have all the answers, they're wrong. Everybody is so different. But asking for help allowed me to see things that I never saw before in myself. And one of the most simplest things, let me go back for a second, because one of the things that I struggle with is measuring your food, writing down your food, how much you eat, because what you eat does matter if you're really trying to lose weight. However, for me, it almost put me into this spiral where I literally would, I don't know if traumatized is the right word, but I would fail every single time. I would do really good for a week, for a couple days of measuring and weighing food and all the things, and then I would just fail. And so when I asked for help, one of the things that my doctor said right away, she was like, all right, well, let's start writing down your food and measuring it, and we'll put it in an app, all these things. I just looked at her and I was like, listen, that doesn't freaking work. But here's the thing. When I opened up and told her that, her response was no big deal. No big deal. Let's go back to the basics. Let's go back to 3 meals a day. You're gonna focus on your breakfast, lunch, and supper. Those are the 3 things that you're gonna focus on, with a focus of protein at each meal. That's gonna be your goal. Don't write it down. Don't pay attention to how much you're eating, how little you're eating. Don't worry about it. Focus on eating 3 meals a day. And I tell you what, that changed my weight loss story life, because I started working on my relationship with food. And if you don't have a good relationship with food, I don't care if you are an overeater, an undereater, whatever. If you don't have a good relationship with food, you will never live a life of freedom that is ultimately what you desire, right? So if you're at that place where you're like, I cannot do another diet, I cannot write down and track my freaking food, like it works for a minute, but I just fall off, which that can be a whole nother freaking video, because then you go into this shame cycle and you just start to hate yourself because you can never follow through with things. Oh, I know, I've been there, I've done it. there is light at the end of the tunnel finally. And literally, I feel like I have so much more freedom with food. Am I where I want to be? Like looking back 3 years ago, I would have been like, gosh, I should be at my goal weight by now. No, I am right where I'm supposed to be. And so are you. You are literally right where you're supposed to be. You have to figure out what works for you and stop, please, stop trying to live like somebody else. Because somebody on a low carb diet, yes, they could lose weight and that can work for them. And there's some people who that's just how they live their life and it works really well for them. But if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't freaking work for you. That doesn't make you failing. That doesn't make you a loser. It doesn't mean that you're never going to figure it out or things out. It just means that that specific way of living doesn't work for you. And that's okay. Figure out what works for you and ask for help. Those are the two biggest things of advice that I could give you if you're like me 3 years ago, where I literally didn't even want to look at that person because I couldn't even recognize who she was. Don't do life alone. Find somebody who you trust, who you can open up to, and somebody who is willing to meet you where you are and not somebody trying to tell you how to live your life. Figure out what will work for you. And as always, be real. Please. Give me kisses. Oh, he doesn't want to show his face. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. See ya. Oh, bye. Be real.
Be real, she says.